Okay, few freaking things. Number one, music in this episode on point as all hell. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, we're actually getting a new track, which I will just call Android 17's theme, and that's some seriously like high action freaking octane stuff right there. The second thing is, thankfully, we are getting a multi-episode thing with Topo. I really wanted that to be the thing, because you never know. This is wrapping up in like 6 episodes after this, so for all I know, they could have done the one episode with Topo, and then they could have had the rest just be a freaking Jiren just jizz fest. I don't know what to call it, but yeah. So luckily we're getting that, and we got some new music. I'd say this episode was pretty solid, I would say. And of course, the thing that I'm kind of missing out is God of Destruction Topa. Oh my god, I will bear your children, you are gorgeous. Looking a little bit more sinister, by the way, than most of the other Gods of Destruction. I guess maybe that's an option. Maybe it's like optional that Gods of Destruction could have purple glowing eyes and like an evil aura surrounding them and the awesome chest tattoo. I mean, I don't think Beerus has that. Beerus just kind of chills out in his cave all day, just like, whatever. But he has the option. He can look like that. I mean, seriously, that's freaking epic. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. Episode starts off, which, like, probably every episode's gonna start off at this point, Goku and Vegeta fighting Jiren. Not much to really report on here. Goku gets knocked into a wall, and they get out, and they comment that Jiren hasn't even broken a sweat yet. See, the thing with Jiren is you gotta, like, go through, like, okay, the standard phases of fighting. Like you're a human being and someone comes up to fight you. First off, if the person fighting you is like let's say you're like Brock Lesnar and like a 3-year-old comes up and starts trying to hit you, you don't even have to do anything at that point. And that's what Jiren does. Jiren usually just stands perfectly still and nobody will be able to hurt him. But then you advance to the point where it's like, all right, I guess I have to move a little bit, and then you get to the point where it's like, okay, I guess I'll throw a punch, and then you get to the point where it's like, okay, I guess I'll block your punches. But that's like the point we're at right now with Jiren. Like, Jiren's still not exerting any effort, he's still not sweating, he doesn't look like he's phased at all. And let's be completely honest here, ladies and gentlemen, Jiren is not going to lose this. Jiren is not going to get, like, beaten into submission and then tossed out the side. It's not going to be a situation where it's like he's near death or anything like that. The fact that the tournament's rules exist, all you have to do is getting knocked off the edge, that's what's going to end. That's what's going to happen with Jiren, I believe, anyway. It's not going to be like, even if, let's say they just do it paint by numbers. Goku and Jiren, massive beam struggle at the end of it. Goku's Ultra Instinct, and then he knocks Jiren off. And at the end of the day, Goku is still like, yeah, there was no way I would have a chance of defeating him. There's just no way that would have happened. But that's all we get, really. Cutting back over to 17 taking on Topo, they're pretty much at a stalemate at the beginning of the episode. Topo has his Justice Flash, he's wicked fast and everything, but 17's got the fuck off barrier, and we all know the fuck off barrier, the name kind of speaks for itself at this point. This thing has protected him against any attack from any other alien or like Ani Raza from Universe 3. He dived into like the massive energy blast from that thing. This barrier, as we've seen up to this episode, is entirely indestructible, and they mention the whole thing about 17 having infinite energy. So he looks over at the pillar, the center pillar in the Tournament of Power, arena, and he's like, all right, based on the amount of the pillar left, there's 6 minutes remaining, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna unload on Topo. I'm just gonna go freaking Gatling ki blasts, and he's gonna have to protect himself or, whatever, and I'm just gonna keep that up continuously for 6 minutes. Now, personally, I think that's, a little bit too much time. I think that would be a good idea to pull, like, play around with him for maybe, like, a few more minutes. Maybe when you get down to the last minute, that's when you unload the ki Gatling gun. But, maybe maybe he just didn't have time. He was maybe feeling pushed up against a wall, so he did it. And I really have to bring up something I just figured out with the infinite energy generator thing. It's still, to this day, like several decades after this concept was introduced in the Android saga, blows my mind that Dr. Gero, just a scientist on Earth, granted a very bright one, was able to develop an infinite energy generator. You know, it just conceptless blows my mind. But you know what blows my mind even further? They got Dr. Gero's original blueprints for Android 17 during the Cell Saga. Krillin found them, and that's how they made the damn remote. So doesn't that mean, by extension, that, like, if you give those blueprints to Bulma or Dr. Briefs, they would most certainly be able to, create an infinite energy fucking generator whenever they wanted? Like, granted, you're probably not going to turn your friends into androids, although, I'm just saying, Jinzo Negan Yamcha, Android 22, it's Yamcha, and you put that infinite generator in Yamcha, and he still ends up getting one-shotted. That would be funny. But you know what I mean, like, they have this technology. We have the money and the resources for this, and it blows my mind. But anyway, yeah, infinite energy generator. The way I always imagined this thing worked, by the way, it was like kind of like the alternator in your car. Like, while you're driving your car, it actually, charges your battery, and that's kind of how that's how it works. I imagined it worked on just a better scale, where it's like a power reactor that runs on ki, and it can convert ki into energy, and then, ki is energy, but you know what I mean, like, the body giving off ki is enough to, like, just keep this thing constantly going, like a perpetual energy generator, which is what basically Gero invented, but whatever. Okay, anyway, using that, he kind of has an edge against Topo. Topo even mentions this. He's like, he's got inexhaustible energy, I kind of have to finish this quickly. So they start getting into a beam struggle, like a straight-up beam struggle, not something you see all too often from 17, but it's pretty cool. And it's evened out for a little while until Topo gets shot in the back by Frieza. That's when Frieza shows up. That's where the rape face comes in. I didn't know the context of this rape face, by the way. I thought it was going to be something like Topo cracks a joke about Frieza's mom, and he's like, "Ooh!" And then he starts shooting him. But no, it's just he's just filled with ecstasy and just unloading on Topo's back, while Topo is continuously holding the ki blast against 17. Eventually, Topo gets worn down from this, the attack hits, and he almost gets knocked off the edge. Almost being the key word here. So at the end of this, Topo, he survives, but he's basically shredded. His outfit is ruined. Frieza goes up to him, chastises him a little bit, not really sealing the deal, so that's Frieza's, problem there. And Topo admits that now justice is worthless. He states that attack he used, the beam struggle against 17, he's like, "This is all the justice I have left in my being." Boom! And he's like, after that was used up, he's like, "Justice is now worthless. I resign myself to my fate." And that's when he goes God mode. I'm assuming, as a prerequisite for becoming a god of destruction, you have to have a rigorous training regimen. I think that would be obvious. Where Belmerd is I always want to say his name is Vermouth, because that's the alcohol he's based off of, but it's not Vermouth. It's like Vermood. But then in some translations, it starts with a B, so screw it. I'm just calling him Vermouth. Anyway, there's probably a training he had to go through with him, and, maybe, like, imparting Hakai energy onto Topo, maybe a little bit at a time, to get him acclimated to using this power, something of that nature. The symbol on his chest is a symbol that appears on all of the God of Destruction's uniforms, but never on their actual bodies, at least I don't think it does. So maybe this is like a seal to, like, keep that Hakai energy bound to the physical mortal body until their bodies stabilize and they become actual deities. Maybe that's basically it. But over the years of training with this, I guess Topo could really have become a God of Destruction whenever he wanted. The thing is, though, he was still a pride trooper, and his whole thing was about justice, so he was probably on the fence about, like, do I really want to do, because I'm assuming, like, this is like, once you do this, there's no going back. Once you activate that god power, even if it isn't exactly stabilized yet, you can't just go back to being immortal, so that's like a big decision Topo had to make. Oh, by the way, I went to an anime convention today, so I have this little egg Saitama I'm playing with. But anyway, yeah, so that's the situation there with Toppo. He goes into God form and proceeds to unleash his Hakai Death Ball. Now, it's a little bit different than the way that Beerus did it. The way Beerus did it to, like, Zamos, there really wasn't a Death Ball. It was really just kind of like, okay. And then Zamos just got atomized into nothingness. Here it's a lot more dramatic. Toppo actually creating a giant Hakai death ball that takes a while to charge, and then flinging that at the opponent. That's also something that's like he's new to the game. Now, as for Frieza, arrogant son bitch that he is, he's experienced this before, back during when they were at Baba's place, and they sent that Universe 9 guy, the dog dude, to fight against Frieza, and Sidra, the god of destruction from Universe 9, gave him some of his Hakai energy. But the way Frieza's a fucking idiot. He really is in this episode, because he's like, yes, I stopped a small fragment of Hakai energy that was flung at me not by a god of destruction, but a dog. Yes, therefore, this several times larger death ball that's being flung at me from an actual god of destruction, I'll definitely be able to stop. And he tries to stop it with one hand, but he fails. And he just kind of repeats, like, something like this, something like this, something like this, and he gets sucked into it, and he just gets shot off to the side. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, that was kind of your own dumbass fault, Frieza. I really can't help you with that one, you know? But anyway, and then 17's up for this, and this fight is just nuts. First off, finally, the barrier gets busted, which I'm okay with that. If it takes a god of destruction to break that damn barrier, I'm fine with that. I guess any other mortal being with the infinite ki reserves that 17's got pouring into that fucking thing, it'll get worn out. I mean, it won't get worn out, but if it's a god of destruction, completely different ballgame. Also, something weird, and something that maybe lends my belief that it's not really a true god of destruction, not really stabilized yet, is that 17 is still able to sense his ki. You know, he doesn't mention, like, I can't sense his ki anymore because it's god ki. And I think even, like, Krillin and the people on the bleachers, they were able to sense, like, the presence. What Toppo is actually doing with this aura is he's basically surrounding himself with destruction energy itself. So any attack, doesn't have to be a physical attack, any attack, keys or whatever, that comes in contact with that aura just instantly gets disintegrated and destroyed. So they can't attack him physically, and the key attacks aren't hitting, the barrier is useless, so they just start getting in a freaking battle of just dodging, and 17 using Energy Blast to redirect his body, so, you know, because there's two faults with the Hakai energy from Toppo. The first fault is, as I stated, it takes a while to charge it. The second is, let's say he creates that Hakai Death Ball, and a piece of rubble comes in contact with it, the ball and the rubble will both get disintegrated. It disintegrates the first thing it comes in contact with. So, if you're 17 running from this thing, you can't block it, but what you can do is throw something in front of it to kind of take the explosion instead. You physically can't stop it, because Frieza tried. Now, he didn't die. He was alive, and actually he looked exactly like he did after the end of when Goku hit him with the Genki Dama, like one of his eyes is shut and he's all scuffed up, and right after that he even does the same move. He's like, how about I try to destroy the planet? So he summons the giant freaking energy death ball that he tried to use against Goku to destroy Namek. All Toppo has to do there is literally create like a little tiny speck of Hakai energy. It's like the size of a pebble. Just flicks it at freaking Frieza's death ball, and it just gets incinerated like that. I think the whole giant death ball is more just for theatrics. It could be a small one and it would have the same basic effect. Anything it comes in contact with, just poof. Toppo also uses this energy to crack the fighting arena in half, so that was a cool scene there. Kind of messes with the balance a little bit. So the episode basically ends with Frieza getting wrecked. Frieza gets kicked in the kidneys pretty damn hard. He's not going to be, I don't know if that's how, I don't know how Frieza's race reproduces, but he ain't going to be doing so in the future. His halo should have a halo after the end of, after this punch. You know, it's pretty bad, and this scene is, that's going in the thumbnail, I can tell you right now, because that scene there is just brutal. And then he just has being held up dead to rights by Toppo. You know, I could easily destroy you right here, but I'd be disqualified. By the way, I'm giving Topo kind of a really badass redneck voice, like, you come on down to the old general store, boy, and I'll beat some shit into you out back. You know, I don't know. And that's the end of the episode. Now, Frieza almost gets knocked off. Topo sends him flying, but 17 thinks fast, and he throws a piece of rubble to kind of offset Frieza. He's laying right on the edge. He's like leadering over the side, and he's basically knocked out. But 17 goes, and he's like, all right, I gotta figure out what's going on here. And so the episode ends with them clashing beams. And it's this moment where it's like, will 17 be able to prevail? I don't know, but I'm gonna say probably not. The next episode from the preview, all we really see is Vegeta fighting Topo, which makes sense given that Vegeta, he's number 2 next to Goku, and Topo's next to Jiren. There was also a moment with Jiren where he's like, so you finally decided to change, Topo. So that, they know obviously what's going on. And by the way, in case you're curious, the only reason Jiren, because he's obviously stronger than Topo, didn't want to become a god of destruction is just because he had no interest in it. So I guess that's the only reason we're given. But, yeah, so next episode, I'm thinking 17's going to put up a valiant fight. He's not going to go down without swinging, but 17's probably going to get eliminated early on in the episode. Frieza's still unconscious, so all you got left is Goku and Vegeta, and so Vegeta's going to have to fight against Topo, and it's freaking Goku up against Jiren. But 2 things. Number 1, we kind of expected this. And number 2, don't count Frieza out yet. He's knocked out, but he didn't get eliminated. He's still there on the sidelines. He's kind of knocked out. He might be coming back rather shortly. So maybe we might have a moment where Vegeta and Topo go down together, and then it's Goku versus Jiren. And did I say Goku and did I say Vegeta and Jiren? I meant Vegeta and Topo. And then it's just, you think it's just Goku and Jiren brawling for like an episode or 2, and then right at the decisive moment, Frieza comes back in and manages to deal the decisive blow, like Goku and Frieza teaming up. I mean, I'm cool with that. I mean, whatever. I mean, he's fun. We can have that. By the way, this is the reaction that Frieza had after Topo first went into God form. Frieza's not even fazed by the God Ki. He's just like, oh, this will be a delightful night on the town. But that's basically the episode. That was episode number 125. 5 minutes left in the Tournament of Power, and I calculated this out. If we're doing the thing where it's just going to be a minute each episode from now on, and it ends at episode 131, then we have episode 126 will be 4 minutes, and then 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and then 130 will be the conclusion. And then if that's really how they're going to do 1 minute each episode. And then the final episode, 131, will probably be the wrap up, summon the dragon, blah, blah, blah. And then that's all she wrote. But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I was at an anime convention earlier today, and I didn't get home until a little later, so I didn't really have time to do the One Piece review. I was like, all right, I'll just do the Dragon Ball Super review and call it a day. So that'll be out tomorrow, the review of One Piece Chapter 892. So thank you for being patient. Thanks to everybody, the fans that I met at SetsuCon today, the staff, everybody else, Manga Girl, it's all great. Had a lot of fun. I got a lot of cool stuff there. I'll be showing off in future videos. I got the Saitama egg. I also got some new wall scrolls. I got an Attack on Titan wall scroll and a One Punch Man one. I've been doing the One Punch Man content for a while, so I needed a wall scroll for that, and I'm starting Attack on Titan content, so I needed the Attack on Titan one. I was debating whether to get a new Dragon Ball wall scroll, because this is the only one I have. I have like 5 or 6 One Piece ones, but at the end of the day, I decided not to get the Dragon Ball one, because I just don't know, which I will, if it's, I'm going to be talking about it very much in the future, so I think just that one will be sufficient. And Phil, thanks for pounding around with me today. It was pretty sweet, pretty fun day. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. Signing out.